Hello, Matthew Williams here. Just to bring you a quick video. I'll try and be as brief as possible, so excuse me if I rush, but I will get all the points in. Andrew Pyrka's footage of the Blimp/UFO. It's been brought up that Charlie Mallett believes that Andrew Pyrka is lying, that he has committed a fraud in relation to this footage. I would like to make public, for your benefit, my research which looked into this, which would actually go a long way to saying that it wasn't the case that Andrew Pyrka is lying about seeing the object, that he just physically didn't, for reasons which I will explain here now. Now this would then show that he's exonerated, he's not actually lying, but simply that there were factors involved, maybe which he hadn't taken into consideration, which may explain why he didn't see the object, but Paul Jones did. So let's quickly move on. Google Earth here, it gives you the heights of areas. If you move your hand, you see the hand, look down here over on the right, and you will see feet in height. Okay, that's the height of the ground. So as you move it across the ground, you see the height change. 591. This is where the cameraman was positioned. When you see these positions, take the tip of the pin, not the top of the pin as being the position where the cameraman was. Okay, so it's the tip of the pin, okay, not the top of the pin. Okay, so the point that goes into the ground, that would be 595 feet. Okay, now just to show you a photo, this is a diagram which I drew up in speaking to Andrew Pyrka, and I believe this is the position that he was standing, although I also think there is a problem with some of this information. I would really like to go back to the location with Andrew to confirm exactly where he says he was standing, because I think there are some inconsistencies here, and I will show you why in a minute. Okay, so Andrew says that he stood here in this field of crop. I can explain to you that this field here would have also had crop, but as it comes to the edge, around about here, the field starts to dip off away and as it goes over the hill. Okay, this is a road. This is the Wroughton. There's Wroughton village. Wroughton Road goes up and comes around and goes towards Chiseldon, which is up here. So that's the road. So this is the position. I believe the cameraman stood here. Okay, so I did a little investigation, went to the area, took some photos. This is the two fields and the delineation between the two, a little track. Okay, this is where I believe the cameraman stood taking photos, but this is where I have a problem. In this area you can see the tree. I cannot see Swindon in the background. Now, I don't know whether or not it's just the day, whether or not it's cloudy and it's not allowing me to see, but I don't think so. So I need to know where this cameraman was standing, because with the angle of the tree, as you can see with the horizon there, I haven't got a view onto Swindon, which I think is a problem. So we'll come back to that. But went to the area, tried to confirm from photographs that were put on the Crop Circle Connector forum. Now that forum has actually shut down, so I don't have copies of these photos anymore, but that I believe that is the tree that we're looking at. Okay, and in the photos you can see that it's just that the cameraman is slightly higher, because he can see just a little bit more of the field in the background, and it may be able to give him the view over the top to see Swindon. So we'll come back to that in a minute, but there's, now this is to show you that the field dips away. Okay, in the field that we're in, this is where we're standing, and to simulate, this is the field dipping away. Okay, this is where the tree is in the bottom of the dip, and the field then goes up in the distance. Okay, so it goes down and comes back up. Moving on, there's another photo which shows the areas. I don't believe that is the tree on the left. I believe it is this tree on the right. It seems to match the photo quite well, and the positions where Andrew Pyrka did actually say he was standing. Now you can see where Andrew would have been standing, would have been somewhere up, on this part of the hill up here. Okay, so he would have been standing somewhere around here. Now if that's the case, then he may have been able to see over the hill, but by his original pointing out to me where he was. I will show you the photo again. Okay, that would have put him somewhere up here, standing in the field, somewhere at this position. But in fact, I was able to kind of, get him to tell me that he was actually about here in this field, so not at that position. So we need to kind of work this out. But have a look at what I think may have been going on. This is my analysis. Okay, if we come back to Google Earth, if we come down on this area, I will show you the heights involved. Okay, so the height here is 594 feet. As we come across the field, you will see the height decrease, 586, 82, and it dips down to about 572. Okay, and then as it goes up into the next field, as it goes up into the next field, then the height goes back up. So you can see that that's how this works. Okay, and you can see the M4 motorway here. So if we were to put the cursor over there, you see that's 372. So that's definitely lower. So all of the village around here, 373. That's at least 200 feet lower. So 200 feet lower. So a blimp could be tethered here, okay, at about 200 feet and just be level with the horizon of where you would have been in this area. So if we tip it back down, you see this is a hill, that's the edge of the hill, okay, and that's where this blimp could have been at around 200 feet. So going in on the area, we have a little look, okay, and I'll spin it around so you can see, that's the road that goes down to Wroughton village, okay, and this is the old air base here. You've got the airfield, which is up in the background. But anyway, let's spin him round so you can see. Now, if I put myself where the cameraman is almost positioned, okay, and we start to look. Now, if we've got to be careful here because it switches modes, Google, very easily and takes me down to the ground. Okay, now, whoops, there, it's gone down to the ground. So now it's almost impossible with this to see what I'm trying to tell you because it's not like being there in real life. But the blimp, this would be the blimp in the distance, okay? This would be Andrew Pyrka, and that would be the tree. So by standing in this position, okay, you can actually see the blimp because you can see over the hill, okay? But by standing where Andrew was, okay, and taking yourself down to his height, see, you can't see the blimp anymore because Andrew has got the hill behind him. So let's switch over to my analysis. Okay, this is the cameraman over here in this position. Okay, so he's over here. Okay, and then if you pull back, you've got Andrew was either over here on this hill, or I believe more likely was on this hill, by his description to me. So if we take Andrew and we position him in where I believe he should have been, this is where on my diagram Andrew actually said he was. Okay, let's see how that works. Okay, so the cameraman, if he was standing in this position, would have had a view out which could have gone no further than the edge of the hill, okay, but his vista would have come out to be able to see at least a balloon tethered at about 200 feet, okay. But if Andrew was standing where he said on the pushpin I had on my map when I went and did the investigation, and if Andrew was standing in this position walking back and forth, then his eye line to the edge of the hill would have been like this. So let's follow it through, right? And only very, very slightly would he have not been able to see the object. And if he walked further across the field, it would have made it even worse for him. And if he walked further back up the field, if he'd eventually walked back to where Paul was, he would have been able to see the object. So this is to do with the eye lines. So the only problem I have is that the footage which was taken, which I don't have a copy of at the moment because the crop circle connector forum is down, but as you can see, this object is very close to the horizon as far as Paul is seeing, okay, but I do have a problem with which trees are which, because that tree shown here doesn't look like that tree, okay? And if Andrew says he was standing 1 mile closer, well, that can't possibly be correct, I don't think, because let me just show you. Hang on. Right. Okay. So let's just do meters, miles. Okay. So if we draw from there to Andrew, that's 0.3 of a mile. Okay. So if Andrew had gone 1 mile further on from that position, it would only be 0.58 of a mile. So I think Andrew's estimation of it being a mile is just a guesstimate off the top of his head. It can't be correct, because a mile would have taken him from his original position. Well, that's the cameraman to Andrew, so that's a third or a fifth of a mile extra on. And if he'd gone any further, he'd have been right over the brow of the hill. So he would have been over the hill, which is, he would have actually probably been down in the flat of the valley below. So that mile estimate is wrong. So this is what I'm saying, is some of what Andrew is coming out with now is after the fact. It's stuff that he's trying to remember from a long time ago, and with all the power of the mind, unless you've got a photographic memory, you're likely to start to forget certain little details, and I would certainly do that myself. So from a point of view of, is Andrew actually lying? I do not believe he's lying. I do believe that he didn't see the object, but as to why he didn't see the object, I believe that from his position that he gave to me early on in this, that his eye line simply didn't allow him to see it. So Charlie Mallett's assertion that he is being a fraud, I think that he's trying to be as honest as he can be with what he remembers he saw, but simply that the facts as they stand, the probability is that he just couldn't see the object. So thanks very much for watching.